SmackDown. SmackDown is bad. Let's just keep it a buck and 25 cents. Literally, the best parts were just when John Cena was making his John Cena promo and Edge was literally trying to be as intense as possible over the bare minimal he has on this main roster to make an interesting draw come SummerSlam. They're literally shooting their load equivalently as hard as they can because they know whoever they bring up to the roster is not going to be as big as Goldberg, Edge, and Cena in 1 month. Now, literally, of the positives I made over my Raw review, that could come into any sort of bull crap because the match was good. All because one thing is good doesn't make anything an above average rating. I hope people understand that whenever they make their critiques. It gets on my nerves. Like, oh, like 2 matches were good. That means the show was like a 6 out of 10. Well, how does that determine the show? Finn Balor faced Sami Zayn in a... Like, this match is over 15 minutes over the grand opener, just recapping majority what happened at Money in the Bank. And the match was so goddamn... It was agitating. Brainbuster, suplex, kick, Mr. Dropkick. It ends with a coup de grace. So literally after coming over just over an interrupting promo, the build off because when Sami Zayn came back off injury, he interrupted Finn Balor. So you think the poetic justice comes when Finn Balor finally comes back. He nails it. There's no storyline. Finn Balor just comes on having a random match with Sami Zayn because they have to make it an over 10-minute opener. Next up, we went into Big E cutting an in-ring promo off Money in the Bank. This was also off Apollo interrupting, like, look at you, my brother! Look at you! And I am still the Intercontinental Champion. Like, that wasn't prevalent even though these two had to be in a qualifying match. And then the IC title was irrelevant. Then Ziggler and Rude tagged with Rick Boogs with the promo, Cesaro, ending over with a brawl with Cesaro trying to do the swing, and the people were actually popping for the swing. So it's better off, and I feel like it's a better option to just keep Cesaro over in the mid-card, because he's too dull to keep over in the main event scene. Especially that he's not that big over as an over-the-top character. And there's the equivalent that his moves are still more over than him. So I think that's a better option to take over, because nobody was headlining over other than the same Kofi Kingston Spruce, all because he has a tenure means he deserves more than any other person that's actually talented. Makes no sense. And then we had Angelo Dawkins face Chad Gable. They were in a concert. It was called, I forgot, Long Road. I forgot what it was called. It was some jobber concert with a whole lot more important people because nobody... This already explains a couple things. WWE can't manually draw outside viewership anymore. People don't know who most of the guys that were competing are. Literally, they had 2 matches. Literally, Ohio had Edge and Cena. Wow. Miami had Bianca Belair and the Street Profits. Chad Homosexual, and of course, Otis and Carmella. Bianca Belair come over trying to prance like a superstar. Nobody was popping. The most you saw was most people clapping or on their phone just to respect the event. This match with Gable and like Dawkins was 8 minutes of boredom. And here's the thing. They barely were trying to get any emotional investment over to the match, so these guys just started doing move for move to make sure there was no investment. Spinebuster, there was a double hook neckbreaker that I thought would have been much better for a guy like him. Like, you're trying to be a heavyweight, so just doing the generic finishers are not always going to be enough. You need something to make sure you tell yourself apart. But Angelo Dawkins, Wale, that nobody can name a Wale song. All they know about Wale is that he knows the New Day. And it comes over off a whack-ass spinebuster. They win! I'm kidding, Angelo Dawkins won. And I think this match was to get a number 1 contenders match. No one cared. Then we had Bianca Belair, and it was like she was making her entrance over in the front of the place with pyro popping. Nobody reacted. It was the 90s. They'd be seeing music playing, superstars everywhere, The Rock making his entrance in his hometown. That's gonna get a general reaction, showing off that people gotta watch the show. You know they had to book over this WWE shit in the last minute, or else they would have just put him in an outside venue for SmackDown. And then most of the people that watched the show with me complain, "This is a higher venue. This is a bigger venue than Raw. This has more people. Why SmackDown? Why don't they just do the show there?" Well, most of the fans weren't actually there to see the wrestling product. This was a concert, and the wrestling was a sideshow. You saw how bad that sounds? This match and the Bianca Belair and Carmella match felt like they were just going through the motions. Bianca won with the KOD. Nobody looked like they suspected they gone over because they went for a rematch on a show that nobody was watching in general from that crowd, and had no built over story with two women with lackluster character. Then Corbin comes around apologizing to Kevin Owens, struggling that he's poor. Then Kevin Owens literally gives him money that Ziggler stole from him because now Ziggler's poor. I don't know how you get financial benefits being King of the Ring. If that was the case, Billy Gunn should be the poorest person ever. Seriously. There's plenty of people that were King of the Ring. How do you get financially struggle? How are you struggling of having it over 2 years of a gimmick? What? And plus, don't you make more money as like as a champion than a King of the Ring holder? That, by the way, they don't do yearly anymore. So what was the thing? I don't get it. Never foreshadow. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And this came over to Tegan Knox and Shotzi literally fixing up their dumbass tank with a little rocket on it, and it hit Corbin. Oh, because his life sucks. They're gonna do Happy Corbin. It's gonna suck. Corbin sucks over as an actor. He looks like a cancer patient. Can't portray any semblance of heat. He sucks to me. I'm sorry. This guy has such a casual look and can't maneuver any heat because he's not a person that looks like I should beat up. He looks like a guy that just is there. That can't be an over the top personality to me. I understand many people think he's generalizing heat because he's giving over a negative emotion. He shouldn't be giving the negative emotion that I don't want to watch the show anymore because he's on it. That's not a good thing. That's not a good emotion. Then we had Edge, of course, addressing Rollins, ending over on a brawl with a piece of a steel chair. Rollins, of course, being like, you know what's going to happen to me because you don't want to fight me, and I want to make sure that you never win the world title again. So it's obvious that they're forcing over a program because Rollins and Cesaro for 5 months was a bit too much. Literally a bit too much. What did that elevate over for Cesaro? That he just had good matches with Rollins. No character, never changed his behavior, just that he kept randomly jumping Rollins, wearing his boring ass tracksuit. Yeah, he had good matches, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't extensivize anything about his character, never changed the way he wrestled, and it just made people more tired to see him because they had the same match. So what does this really elevate? Toni Storm from NXT made her first debut against Lita Vega with no entrance. And literally lost. I mean, she's kidding, she won. Hitting a Storm one, and it was an alright match. Basic, it was like 7 minutes for her debut. And this is for a lady that already like came over a surprise return, gets no entrance, and gets squashed by a female. And unlike and gets squashed by an up and comer, and unlike the Karrion Kross match that people bitch about, at least it's foreshadowing a program after Karrion possibly drops the title to Samoa Joe or somebody else. I don't see any reason why people aren't complaining about Zelina Vega, because people are fake fans because they went to like get discounts on OnlyFans shit for Zelina Vega. Then we had Jimmy Uso beating Dominic over a roll up again. The strongest move in pro wrestling. It's not even your own finisher anymore. Match result was average for Jimmy Uso. I understand when they continue the program, but this is how they format tag team feuds. It's not interrupting any other matches if you're already a contender. It's not making anything personal between personalities, or just having different ways to do a match. Like, it's just one half of the other the one half of the other tag team will fight, and then if they're interluding mid card feuds involving another mid card champion, we'll have a 6-man tag in the second to last week, and then we'll have a promo to finalize it all. That's literally the rinse repeat shit that it's literally Raw and SmackDown do. It's not even for different brands. They're literally copy and pasting formats off universe mode, where it's just wrestling with some promos with very little substance. And I'm just still a bit confused about the basis of a fucking disciplinary rule that WWE does. Look, I don't mind their drug ruling, but how they deal with rap sheets like the Usos, all because of nepotism, comes over to them still being in a major main event storyline with Roman, while still holding on to tag team titles on pay per view no less, and still being on TV consistently. If that was me, I would have scrapped it until uh, Jimmy gets his head out of his ass and Roman just actually looked like a threat. And then we had Roman Reigns coming over. The tribal chief takes like 2 minutes to speak until he finally addresses Roman, saying he doesn't accept his challenge because he doesn't want to see him. He doesn't want to waste time with him. Until Finn Balor comes up, because of course Finn Balor's easy money, even though he just beat one guy in his return. So he's automatically now part of the world title chase. Like there is no world title scene. Thanks, there's no legit main eventers. Literally any other upper mid carder gets a shot for the world title. So Finn coming over like, I want a shot. Thanks, you don't want to pick up another challenge. And thanks, I never was pinned. Never lost my world title my first reign 4 years ago. Like, they never estimate that at all. And literally, people still complain, well, what's the demon character? The demon character, there is no character for a demon character. It's not even a persona. It's just a gimmick. It's just a theme. It's just a little Halloween thing Finn Balor does because Prince Devitt is just a Euro Abercrombie and Fitch model with no charisma. Just knowing that the extent of people still asking for some skinny dude to wear face paint and he doesn't even change up the way he behaves, it astounds me to the minimal of persona that goes into a character like the Fiend, or at least like Mankind. That was the last person I thought that, okay, he looks different, he behaves different, his back his back uh his backstory is different, and it just makes you feel emotional ways to make sure you don't want to see Mankind when he's a healer face getting hurt. That's the way you make a persona actually interesting. You don't see that whenever you go over to look at Finn Balor and the demon character, because you know that's just Finn Balor trying to make Undertaker grunts sounding like he's fucking some dude while thinking that he's actually an intimidating figure, even though it's just a skinny Irishman in face paint. Please tell me why you wasting 6 hours of paint means that you're an interesting character. I don't mean over to be negative, but it just astounds me the minuscule interest that any other person, especially an old school viewer, because I know people that watch wrestling nowadays are probably old school viewers or guys that are forcibly optimistic because of internet opinion. But if you ever had the uh just the chance to control any wrestling roster for the WWE, Finn Balor would never be in your conversation because you already know there's people more interesting and better. I don't want to see an Irish midget that looks like he has a hood body, coming around doing missile drop kicks everywhere, and then you feel like the demon gimmicks he wrestles the same way. And then he's like, I accept. And that's it. Finn Balor does his little gun pose. Match is gay. There we go. That's SmackDown. And they were literally in a concert. For what? They were literally wasting so much time. Wasting so much time. It just showed that outside fans don't want to watch it. The bare minimum of every match had to be 15 minutes, except probably the Tony Storm match had to happen. I felt completely drained watching SmackDown. And a TV show that has action shouldn't be making me feel exhausted. It should make me feel exhilarated to watch it for the next week and anticipate it. Literally. Don't know why that's a failure now. So that's it coming from the review. Thanks for watching. That's it for me.